They say a joke. I'm just going to try and not say jokes during the 3 weeks. I don't know that I can not say a joke, but I decided maybe we won't talk about basketball. That's my 3 weeks Kabbalah. They say a joke that in yeshivas we don't learn Navi because yeshivas are not-for-profit institutions. Okay, so I'd like to speak a little bit about Navi, if that's okay with everyone. 3 words of Navi, if that's not too controversial. I came across a piece or 2 pieces really, from Rav Tzadok. Rav Tzadok is one of the great Hasidic Rebbes. I'd like to present his ideas to you, maybe in a bit of an expanded form. We're now firmly within 3 weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av, our morning of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and we feel this in different ways. Some of us are like scratching over here a little bit, we're feeling that. Some of us are searching for the best a cappella songs, and some of us are maybe paying attention to the haftarahs. Maybe there's someone who's paying attention to the haftarahs. There are special haftarahs during these 3 weeks. The Gimel de Parnusa, 3 haftarahs of destruction. Rav Tzadok points out that the opening word of each haftarah is a verb. The first 2 haftarahs, one we read last week, one this week, are from Sefer Yirmiyah. Dibru, speak, and then Shimu, to hear. And then the final haftarah of this 3-week unit is the one before Tisha B'Av, Chazon, vision, to see. It's in the wrong order. In Tanakh, Sefer Yeshaya comes before Yirmiyah. So the fact that we're presenting these out of order would seem to be intentional in some way. Right? There must be some reason that we're starting out of order of Tanakh. The first one is the beginning of Yirmiyah, and the next one is the parak afterwards. That makes sense. But the third one, why is that third and not first? Kind of like a Lam D'Shatosis Kasha. Why is the first answer first and not second? But the same idea. That's one question that Rav Tzadok deals with. Another question, it's more of a Chassidish question, is the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av has a name. If you look in the calendar, it will be called Shabbos Chazon. It's called Chazon because that's the first word of the Haftarah, Chazon Yeshaya. So it says Rav Tzadok, why don't we have other Shabbosos which are called Shabbos something? Shabbos Shimu. Why is this week now called Shabbos Shimu, the first word of the Haftarah? Why is it only Shabbos Chazon? That's what Tzadok's question. So Tzadok suggests that really this is not a unit of 3. This is a unit of 2 plus 1. There's 2 haftarahs that lead to the third haftarah. The third haftarah, Shabbos Chazon, that is the vision. That's the goal. That's where we're trying to get to. The way we get there, the method, is the 2 haftarahs that we read last week, and this week the dibru, the divrei, the speaking, and the shimu, the listening. I'd like to try and explain what I think Rav Tzadok means by this. 2 lead into 1. The speaking and the listening lead into the vision, the seeing. The first time that I don't know if it's the first time that I saw these pieces from Rav Tzadok, but certainly the first time that I really focused and internalized these pieces was about 5 years ago. Must have been in this time period, the 3 weeks. And what really crystallized this idea for me was a news story that was going around, probably a little bit afterwards, but it just stuck with me. There's somebody named Victor Schein. I don't know if anybody knows Victor Schein. Victor Schein is a Yid who lives in Brooklyn somewhere. For some of us, the older generation, he's the brains behind the song Minion Man. That means anything to anyone?
Yeah.
Some of us? Okay, fine. Minion Man. It's a schlock rock song. You can quote that.
We can get him here.
Yeah. Okay. Victor Schein?
No.
Schlock rock. Okay. So, anyways, that's one claim to fame. But he has another claim to fame. These are like 40 years apart. The song Minion Man is like 40 years old or something. But there's another story. About 5 years ago, again, when the story is taking place, there's a boy in Brooklyn named Yosef Shapiro, 6-year-old boy, going to some day camp, and he went missing. Everyone was getting on the bus, and Mamish went missing. So immediately a call went out to all the Jewish organizations, Hatzalah and Shomrim, and everyone's involved in the NYPD. There's a massive search going on. There's, of course, automatically the things go out to the WhatsApp groups, say Tehillim. Okay, so Victor Schein says Tehillim. He describes himself, he's an old man, I don't know exactly how old he is. And then it's getting 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and he says, you know what, I'm going to go join the search. They're asking for volunteers, I'm going to go join the search party. So he goes out, and he describes it. It's coming towards Shkia, it's getting dark, and it starts to rain, it starts to pour. And the NYPD gets really nervous, because now it's dark, so you don't have visibility, and the rain means there's no trace anywhere, and the scent is going to go also. So everyone gets really nervous. So Victor Schein, he said he didn't even wait to get assigned to an area, he just starts walking. And he described he's walking in a marsh. I think he didn't want to go all the way in, but he was around. And he's screaming, Yosef, Yosef. He's going for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I forget how long. And eventually he hears a little voice, Tati, Tati. Immediately he gets on the phone. Within a few minutes, the whole cavalry arrives. And Yosef is being carried into an ambulance. Rain's pouring down, and of course the videos were videos of all the frum guys dancing and singing in the rain. Beautiful image. And, Baruch Hashem, a happy story. I remember just hearing the story, seeing this story, and the idea of, he screamed out, Yosef, he listened, Tati, and he saw. That's what Tzadok describes. You speak, you listen, and you see. I think it's a story that is just worthwhile for us to think about, because we all have the ability to have that experience. We all have the ability to make an impact in a unique way. I don't know if everyone's writing a song, but some of us are. But even if we're not writing songs, we have that ability. I think this model that Rav Tzadok creates is helpful for us in terms of relationship with Hashem, particularly in the realm of tefillah. We call out to Hashem, we cry out to Hashem, we speak to Hashem in happiness, we speak to Hashem in frustration. Are we listening? Are we listening for what's coming out? Sometimes it's a booming voice, sometimes it's a little tati. But are we listening? If we're not listening, how do you expect to see results? I'd like to try and explain what Rav Tzadok means, that the goal of this is chazon, the vision. Maybe we'll do a little bit of Gemara methodology. Tiny bit. One of the things that we teach, I think, this is my entree into morning Seder teaching, is Tashma. Come and listen. Come and see. So what does it mean to come and see? So I think we teach something like it's a proving text, Tasha, Teret, something. When you learn Yerushalmi, everyone's going to get to Yerushalmi in Yirtzeh Hashem. So Yerushalmi has some subtleties that are a little bit different when it comes to the Aramaic. One of the things is this: in Yerushalmi you don't have Tashma, you have Tachazi, come and see. It's different. They point out that what's the difference? There's a Golus mentality and there's an Eretz Yisrael mentality. There's a Golus mentality of you're hearing something. There's an Eretz Yisrael mentality, a Geula mentality of seeing. Gemara says elsewhere, "Ein Adom Shmei L'Riyah." When you hear something, when you see something, you can't compare it. When you see it, that's an Eretz Yisrael. We live in a Geula. We live in a Golus mentality. We live in a Tashma. We're hearing things, but we don't see things properly. I think that's one of the things that we're mourning over in these weeks in the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash is a total lack of clarity. We don't see things clearly. We hear, sometimes we only hear echoes. We don't have clarity. And I'm not talking about the major communal controversial issues. I'm not interested in that right now. On an individual level, on a more mundane level, we take things for granted as normal, and they are so not normal. Let me just give you a few examples that I was involved in thinking about, talking to people about over the last few days. In our world, it's perfectly normal for people to have some screen open in front when you're engaged conversing with a friend, with a spouse, with a child. Even with Hashem, perfectly normal to have some screen open. That's not normal. But we're so warped in the way we view things, it's perfectly normal. We don't have a clear perception of things. We all reach out to people, mentors, Rabbeim, community leaders, when we're in moments of crisis, when we're struggling. And we're looking for them to empathize with us, to invest their time, their effort, to sit and talk to us. And we need that. And that's great. Baruch Hashem, we have people like that. How often do we update them afterwards? It's all okay. I spoke to that Rebbe of mine, and 3 years later he's still davening that I get a job, because I didn't tell him I got a job. How would he know to stop? He cares about me. Do we say thank you? No, I'm leaving a community. Thank you for the effort. I appreciate it. That's so not normal. It's not derech eretz. But we don't realize that. We don't have a perception of what is normal. Another example, tachnun. We have a warped perception of cause and effect. The way that tachnun is supposed to work is that you have a day of simcha, you have a joyous occasion, therefore that's antithetical to tachnun, which is supposed to be about judgment. Therefore you don't say tachnun. Cause and effect. We do it the exact opposite. It's a totally normal day. I don't say tachnun, now I'm happy I get out of shul early. It's warped. It's totally wrong. I mean, because who knows? Why is Tu B'Shvat a happy day other than, we don't say tafel and we sing some songs? I don't know. It's totally warped. We have a misperception of so many things. You might disagree with me about some of these examples. I feel strongly about this, and I would argue if you don't see this as abnormal, it's because we're so desensitized to this. And there's so many other examples we could give. I once saw an idea from the Sasemes. Sasemes was talking about Tisha B'Av, and he said, sometimes people come into Tisha B'Av and they say, I don't really know what I'm sad about. There was an idea of a Beis Hamikdash. I don't know. Looks pretty good. I'm in Yerushalayim. It's built up. It's wonderful. What am I upset about? How am I supposed to cry? How am I supposed to get into a mournful state? So the Sfas Emes says, that's what you cry about. You cry about the fact that you don't have anything to cry about. I think it's the same thing by us over here. If we don't view ourselves as having a misperception, a warped perception of reality, that's what we should be crying about. That's what's going on. Our goal is to get to the idea of chazon, the proper vision, proper outlook, the geula mentality. Tachazi, come and see. We're not there. I think that this is one of the main things we're doing every day when we sit down in Beis Medrash, in yeshiva, out of yeshiva. Some of us have the schus of learning together Nefesh Chaim, which I call the Yeshiva Manifesto. Every yeshiva. It's a bit of a shameless plug. Anyone who wants to join us on Thursday, you're welcome. But the Nefesh Chaim describes that Talmud Torah is so significant because we're ultimately connecting to the Ratzon Hashem, to Hashem's will. And he explains that unlike any other being, Hashem's desire is inextricably linked with himself. And therefore, when we're trying to understand what Hashem wants, we're understanding Hashem himself. What we're doing when we're learning Gemara, when we're breaking our heads over Gemara, is that we're trying to think like Hashem. We're recalibrating the way we think, the way we view things, to view things through a proper lens. It's a tikkun of exactly what we're describing. Rav Tzadok told us the way we get to this is by speaking and by listening. I'd like to maybe try and explain this maybe a little bit more. Speech is a pretty low-level ability. Babies begin making sounds, baba, beep, boo, bab. Babies make sounds all the time. They're kind of testing the waters. They don't really know what to do with these sounds. If you ever see a kid who's learning to speak, they say a word and they look around to your reaction. Oh, did I use the right word in this circumstance? Great, now I got it. You're mommy. Over time, that gets refined a little bit. Listening is a skill. Kids don't know how to listen. Some of us are still kids. Okay. I think that maybe just as a mashal, how this works, let's use yeshiva as a mashal. You come to yeshiva, and you're introduced to certain terminologies. You're introduced to something called the default position. You have no idea what a default position is. You just hear the term. So you go around using the word default position all the time, and you're looking at the reactions of people. Did I get it right? Or you hear about being happy and unhappy. So I don't know, you sit in front of the mirror, you smile and you frown. I think I got it. I don't know what the words are. I know the words, but I don't know how to use them properly. The next day you come to shir, you listen properly, you understood it. Oh, that's what a default position is. That's what it means to be happy. That's what a makshin is. Oh, I get it. That's what Tosas means when he says this im tomar. Oh, I get it now. It's a different type of listening. And then you come to afternoon seder. It's a plug for afternoon seder. And you start learning. And I don't know if anyone ever had this experience before, but I heard the word. I listened, and then I see that same thing in the Gemara. You have to dodge out of the way. It jumps out at you. It comes alive. Oh, that's what it does. Now it's real. I see it. It's not just something that I can speak the words. It's not just something that I heard about, but now I see it. It's real. It's live. That's the process we're engaged in right now. We're hearing all sorts of words. Okay, we're trying them out. Galus, Geula, Mashiach. These are words we're hearing about. Lashon Hara, Sinas Chinam. They're words. Okay, so I'm testing them out. Anyone, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? I don't know yet. We need to spend time internalizing these words. What do they mean? How does that affect me? And when we do that, they'll start jumping out at us. When they jump out at us, that's when the change occurs. Because it's totally different. It's something real, it's something tangible. And if we're able to do that, then in Yud Hashem we'll get to a place of seeing true emes, truth in a real way, in a tangible way, which is the Beis Hamikdash.